Real women, real marriages. This is the Empowered Wife podcast. Susan wasn't looking for a marriage transformation. No, she'd already given up on that. She just figured she had nothing left to lose. So she tried a couple of small things, and she did not expect it to work. But today her husband serenades her in the hot tub. That's the whole story, except it's not, because Susan is here to walk you through exactly what she did, step by skeptical step, so you can decide if it's worth trying too. Stay to the end for your try it tonight takeaway. My guest Susan was so lonely, frustrated, and hurt by her husband's criticism of her, she hired a therapist to support her while she divorced him. But she figured she had nothing to lose by trying the 6 intimacy skills, and she got immediate results. Now, her husband apologizes to her, sings to her in the hot tub, and showers her with love, gifts, and kindness. She's going to tell us how she did it so you can do it too. Susan, welcome to the Empowered Wife podcast. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's so fun. You have created this community of people that are, it's a wonderful community is all I can say. And this journey here has been a truly, it was miraculous that I found you because I was really, I was on the road to divorce and I had no other, I couldn't figure out how to make it work. And I was in a Facebook group. I just joined. Somebody seemed to be talking about similar problems. And somebody mentioned Laura Doyle. I thought, well, I'm going to look that up. Tried. So, my husband was very critical of me, but the real issue for me was that, he thought what I said, what I did, how I looked, my facial expressions, he really perceived them as a criticism of him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wait, before we get to all this, though, I have to ask you, what was it about your husband that initially attracted you to him? Like, how did you know he was your guy?
Oh, we had been both studying a philosophy and a way of life that is really about the mastery of awareness, the mastery of transformation, and the mastery of intent in terms of changing your limiting beliefs. And so I was very, very into it. And then I met him and he was into it. And we were doing all these workshops and going places where we would see each other. And I was thrilled to meet somebody who was like-minded like that. And we just connected on such a deep level. And I was like, wow, this is the man for me. We really, it took a couple of years. I got to know him and, but I was like, I need to be with him. For me, it's a dream come true. Everything I've ever dreamed of. Right.
Yeah. It sounds like you had similar outlooks on life, the philosophy of how to live, and this personal development work you were both doing. So that sounds great. So, and when did things start to break down?
Well, I think it happened pretty quickly after we became a couple. I was really we were trying to publish a book. And we successfully overcame that hurdle, and I was doing a lot of work. I think I was very mothering, and how to do things. Anyway, so I don't know that he really liked that. I think he wanted more of a woman who was going to inspire him and that he wanted to kind of be with every day. He didn't want to be with his mother, I don't think. So anyway, I think things started going south because, like I said, he would interpret things perceive things I would say as criticism, and his response to that felt really hard for me because he'd start with sarcastic remarks or tell me how I was that wasn't right, and he'd our relationship became kind of punctuated with what I called blame, orders, threats. Um, he would blame me for starting things. Th- I didn't really understand that he was seeing it as a criticism. And then, he'd order me to, I would defend myself and he'd say, you better stop and I'm like,
Better you better stop or whoa. Okay, yeah.
it,
Or make anybody defensive. What kinds of things was he saying you better stop?
well, I would interrupt him
Okay.
in the middle of a sentence, or I'd talk over him or say, oh, you misunderstood me. I try to explain, I'd be so defensive that he really was put off by that. I wasn't listening to him. I wasn't really hearing what he had to say. And so, just a simple tool. The very first tool I think I used was I hear you. So, the very first skill, right, of yours. And listened, just listened. It was that easy.
Well, I mean, yes and no, right? Because I think when it sounds like you felt very misunderstood and you were feeling some urgency to explain yourself, to make yourself clear. And he didn't like that. And it was just kind of escalating. So you decided to experiment with saying, I hear you. That was the very first intimacy skill you tried, it sounds like. And you say it was easy, but was it easy to not interrupt or not explain?
Um, I'm a pretty determined person, but uh, it was I had a habit of taking the bait. So there, once I took the bait and became defensive at all or tried to explain myself, I just wanted to be understood, right? Who am I? Why am I saying this? I wanted him to hear my heart message, right? And it's an irony, but I think there's a lot of mirroring going on, right? But there's also perceptions of, you know, he's perceiving me as criticizing him, and then he criticizes me. It's sort of like a reflection, right? I didn't realize that what I said and did actually was a criticism in a way, how it could be a criticism. So yes, that took a long time. So, this is 4 years now since I started really working with your skills. And the skills have levels, various levels, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um even though it was easy to say I hear you, what's harder is to really show up in that presence of really listening, really hearing a heart message, really hearing what is he saying to me,
Mm,
and allowing m- that to um, live, right? Allowing him to be present with me in a way that fosters a better relationship.
wow. It sounds very moving when you say it like that. How did he respond when you showed up just saying, I hear you?
uh, Normal. Just
Normal.
it became really normal. It was like, if and then I added apologies to, when I started to figure out, what the man culture was. Here I am. I've worked in men's, with men primarily. I had an education as an engineer, and so I worked with a lot of men, and I thought I knew all about men. I was pretty successful. Had great relationships with the guys I worked with. Um, And so it was very confusing to me. What is happening here, right? I'm
Yeah.
acting like a man to him. Why isn't he acting like a man back to me? Why is he angry with me? So,
Ah.
oh, it
So
was.
yeah, it's frustrating because you're successful interacting with the men at work, and then at
Mhm,
home, it's like it's not going well.
mm-mm.
What was the thing that I mean, was there like a moment when you said, okay, we can't go on like this?
Oh, there were many moments like that where I really felt, but it built. We actually had, ups and downs, the ups and downs of marriage, right? Things we'd hired a marriage expert for a while. Um, and one of the things that he said was, don't talk about your problems. Um, and I thought, well, how weird, because I want a resolution. We need to have a solution here. But I kind of went along with it, and we ended up having a session with him, and my husband constantly asked the question throughout our whole relationship, what do women want? I really want to know what women want. And so this marriage expert said, well, you don't need to know what women want. You just need to know what Susan wants. Oh, I was so thrilled. Somebody was on my side.
You're like, yeah.
Oh, yes, take that advice, right? And it worked for a little while. But we kind of just had a pattern of falling into this place where it would be very painful for me. I didn't know how to solve that. And I remember one time you had said, well, if you're going to talk about it, are you shopping for pain? And I thought, oh my goodness, have I been shopping for pain all this time? Yeah, stop talking about it, right? Don't try to resolve. There's no resolution other than just changing me, how I show up, changing my energy, filling myself up with things that make me happy, really living my life, and not paying so much attention to what he was doing, but enjoying him when he was there. So yeah, it was, you learn when you learn.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally. And when you first started hearing about the skills, I guess you started with the book. You started with the Empowered Wife book. Is that right?
I actually think I started with the roadmap. I
The
think I
Empowered Wife
ordered
roadmap.
that, and then I started listening to your podcasts, and I had a little resistance. I thought, "Oh my gosh, this I'm a feminist. Nah, I'm not gonna do this." But then I thought, "Well, what's it worth to me?" I want the relationship. Somehow I always felt like I still loved him. And So I just thought, this can't be that hard, right? I'm just gonna try a couple of these little things. It can't be, you know. Uh,
So you just kind of overcame your resistance. Like you're just willing to experiment, it sounds like.
and a Laura Doyle apology, saying I listening and I hear you. This kind of started around Thanksgiving, and and I think I listened to a podcast you had that said, women set the tone. And he's always loved Christmas. I I wasn't always that into it, so I'm like, I don't want to decorate. That's too much work. So, but this year I decided I'm going to set a tone. I'm going to set a tone that will give him the Christmas he wants.
Hmm.
And so I put on a smile campaign.
A
Um,
smile campaign. I love it.
yeah.
Okay.
I pretended I was a little elf and I ran around. And I acted really gracious for gifts. That's something I'd really never done. Like, I'm like, you know what? So what? I don't know. Just even looking back at my attitude, I'm like, how could I have been like that? Oh, just, uh, anyway.
So this was Susan really deciding to just be like a girl of fun and light who's like gonna have a good time and like enjoy yourself and then also made it enjoyable for him. It's just very playful, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And intentionally smiling at him. Like
Mhm.
making like thinking to yourself, okay, smile at him I'm doing it. How did he respond?
Wonderfully. we had the best Christmas we'd ever had. I was It was beautiful. It really was. It was warm. He was tender, kind, sweet. Oh, I was I'm like, where has this guy been? So,
Oh, Jesus.
but that was 4 years ago, and, things that it kind of was a gradual up, right? We'd have ups and downs and ups and downs. Um, so, uh, I put in a lot of work to it, and uh it's so funny because here we are, we're teaching other people. We were had a coaching practice, a pretty good coaching practice, right? And we're teaching other people how to be happy, and it's so weird that we weren't getting along. We weren't doing it, and I'm like, we know all this stuff, and yet it's like a professor of music that can maybe play an instrument or a couple of them, but not well.
Hmm.
And so your work has given me the skills to really play the instrument well.
That's awesome, Susan. I know how much determination that takes, right? And just openness, willingness to do things that kind of run afoul of your feminist values. And also, I think in some ways, being a coach who helps people find their happiness, it probably was even harder to reach for some of these things because I mean, I would think like, what? I already know. I already teach this stuff, right? I already help other people. So it sounds like, it sounds really brave to me that
Yeah,
you
it
that
wasn't
you
real relationship oriented, our teaching. It was more individual, about your individual life, right? But I thought, well, we gotta be able to apply this somehow between us. How can I show up as a coach, teach something that I am not succeeding at in an area in my life, right?
yeah, yeah,
You feel like a fraud at some point.
yeah, absolutely. I know. I can relate to that. That's why I always feel like I got to go and tell everybody whenever I'm disrespectful to John, right? Like I better announce it in the community so I don't so they know I'm just a mere mortal woman too. So, and you describe it kind of a gradual process, like you would have these aha moments, like Christmas. I think it sounds like you realized, hey, I have a lot of power to create really wonderful, connected, intimate Christmas. And then, like, I mean, if you're anything like me, you kind of like forget later to like, it's a new habit, right? It's not that it's so hard to do, but it's just new. And
Mhm,
so there was still some challenges. So, and it sounds like you would kind of like make some progress and have a great Christmas, and then maybe fall back and just like have another conflict, have it be tense at your house,
mhm, mhm.
or feel defensive again, maybe.
Right, right.
So, so what did you do with that? I mean, didn't you get discouraged? Like maybe this doesn't work or it's too hard?
Um, well, what I did with that, I kept listening. I was always amazed at the stories that other women told and how they overcame a lot of and I could relate. I could just relate so much to them. Your podcasts give so much value. But at some point I decided, I want to try this. Let's try this ridiculously happy wife program. And I had the, time to do it. And I was I was amazed at the community because there were just so many things I was learning, um, things I didn't understand about man's culture and how things were how men perceived things, what they might want from a woman. Um, I had a real hard time with being soft. Uh, I didn't succeed by being soft.
Not in an engineering man's world.
Um,
That's not the place to be soft in your life,
but,
probably.
but it actually works somewhat there because, I would smile a lot at work. Um, and you know, it's funny. because I just didn't, get that this vulnerability, this softness, the feminine, how really beautiful it is, and how, uh, even he can be when he's soft and vulnerable. It also creates a deepness in our relationship, and I don't think he could have gotten there unless I made that move, unless I really lived that.
Wow. So you created emotional safety
Mhm.
for the both of you to be vulnerable. How did you do that? Like, what did you do?
I think a lot of it was, listening, being calm, not taking the bait, um,
Not
duct
taking the
tape,
bait.
duct
Duct
tape.
tape? Okay.
Um,
Okay.
there was a lot of things that we had already created that of mistrust between us that we had to unravel in some ways, and the only way to unravel them is to always show up so that it's safe, and that was not always easy.
Right.
I didn't even realize some of the things that I was doing, the eye rolls, the little things about what he should do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned doing an apology. You apologized to him. What did you apologize for?
Hmm. I've apologized for a lot of things, but one thing in particular, I had told him that, um, some things about how I it's this is hard because, it's pretty personal, and I thought he was pretty cruel, and I had used some pretty harsh words at one point where I was really feeling upset about how our relationship was going, and I think, that hurt him a lot. I didn't really realize it. He never talked about being hurt, of course, right? Um, so I apologize for that, and it was really important because I I didn't mean it. I didn't mean what I said.
You were just feeling hurt
Mhm,
yourself,
mhm,
because you felt criticized. You felt like you couldn't look right or do anything right.
mhm.
And so it seemed like he was cruel and you said it. Um, and then you went back and cleaned it up. How did you apologize?
I just said, um, I would I have, I wanna take responsibility for something that I did, and then I am truly sorry for having said those words, and,
Wow. How did he respond to that?
mm, he didn't really, uh, react in a positive way. I think there was still a lot of mistrust about what was going on. It took a lot more work and a lot of more apologies, especially in the moment. I often would not even recognize that what I was doing was creating a reaction. And so, I'd have to think when I start to notice that, okay, this isn't going well. I have to think, what did I do? You know, what did I do? And if he had to tell me what I did beforehand, that never went well. So I I would really try to think, where am I? What have I done wrong? And a lot of it is just almost like we're speaking a different language, right?
Mm. There's
Uh,
misunderstandings.
mhm.
That's an incredibly accountable question to ask yourself when you're in the midst of a unpleasant conversation with your husband to say, you know, how did I contribute to this? Or, what have I done wrong is
Mhm.
how you're saying it. I mean, couldn't it just be him? Couldn't he just be cranky or?
Sure, sure, but still, I think, in some ways, I wanted to pull on my big girl pants and just be dignified and say, "I apologize if I've been disrespectful by interrupting you. I realize I interrupted you." And that's really a big deal for him. Being interrupted or talked over or not listening, that I didn't have the same relationship with girlfriends I had. We just,
Yeah,
it's like ping pong, you just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there if you had a little pause, you go for it, right? And him, there the pause is a little different. And I would start talking, but he wasn't finished. And so I
Mm.
had to really try to relax into things and give him more space to express himself, to give him more time and not have such a nervous response and reaction. But and that was my nervousness, I think, created a lot of problems. So I had to really work on myself to calm down, become dignified. I mean, that was a big deal to act in a dignified way, to feel relaxed and that everything was going to be okay because I had a lot of experience that, when you're a kid, that maybe things aren't going to be okay, right? Or something's really bad going to happen if, so created this nervousness in me. And I had to really overcome that. I had to really go deep and work on myself.
Wow. So it sounds like you, through this process with your husband, through these breakdowns, that you gained an ability to like regulate your own emotions or become calm, stay dignified,
Mhm.
which kind of sounds like a superpower.
Well, I think it creates some personal power. Absolutely. To really let go of, relinquish control is a big skill that helped me achieve that, right? To relinquish control.
Wow. Oh, that's so great. I mean, congratulations on that. It sounds like, I think it's something we'd all like to have is that ability to be self-possessed in a stressful moment. And it sounds like something you've now developed. What is has your husband ever acknowledged all these changes that you made, Susan? Has he ever said anything about this? Like, what happened to you? Who are you? What have you done with my wife? Or
Oh, well, he said things like, "I love Laura Doyle. Give me my checkbook."
well, I think he meant you because I've never actually met the man. So,
That's true. But I think he's, I mean, I never kept it secret from him that I was doing this, and I often shared things with him that I thought were amazing, and I think he very much appreciates everything. I he loves it that I don't call it awful. It sounds too much like awful.
well, that it
I
does.
say
Yeah.
goful, and
Go full. Oh, I like go full. Okay, go full.
and then he says, "I'm your boful."
Oh, he's your boy of fun and light, and you're the girl of fun and light. You're the go full. He's
Right,
the go
right.
full.
And
Oh,
he's
so you're
said
playing together. You're like
yes,
kids.
yes, the invitation to play, has been fabulous. It's, it's so much fun now, and, um, we're just it's not always net free. So there are places where I still get, um I don't relax well, like when I'm preparing for a trip. So I have really been working on myself stay grounded, just give myself enough time, take care of myself in between, do self-care. Uh, and that's been helpful. But if, there's the slightest hint of stress, it can create some mm, a disturbance in the force, And so I try to set a vision every day. This is what I want for the day. And this is usually pretty simple, like today I'm going to be happy, or today I'm going to have it's going to be a peaceful, beautiful day, or I don't know. They're really pretty simple visions for every day. Today I'm going to get the van packed before we go, and it'll be an easy day. That kind of vision, right? And every once in a while, there's a little bit of net. But one of my visions is just to be net free, and we're going now a long time. It's so that the frequency of net is just much lower, right? And I
This is
really
great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really see how I contribute to net now and how to try to unravel that as soon as possible.
I love it. I'm just going to spell out NET stands for needless emotional turmoil. In case
That's right.
somebody new is listening, and they're like, "What is NET? NET? NET?" Yeah. So, and it sounds like, and I love you've identified that traveling brings on a little stress. It puts a little pressure on your nervous system that's not normally there, and so it sounds like you kind of make accommodations for yourself. You get extra self care to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. It doesn't snowball into something that is going to impact your relationship or your dignity. And you've strung together long periods of time where there's no breakdown, even if you're traveling. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, what is your relationship like now?
Oh, it's amazing. I'm always happy to see him when I see him.
You are like authentically just happy to see him
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Pretty much all the time.
Okay. And now I just want to trace back though. At first, when you did the smile campaign, right? You were like making an effort to just
Mhm.
smile at him, even though maybe you weren't that happy to see him at
Yeah,
that
I
time.
I was it was fake it till you make it. I
It was
I thought,
fidgeting.
"Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I it wasn't that wasn't really authentic." None of this started out as authentic. It's just like, okay, here's a skill. I'm going to toss it out there. And I was like, huh, this works? I couldn't believe it. It was just like, so,
Oh,
because I'd been so frustrated he was telling me, I mean, he told me recently he was feeling the same way at the same time.
oh, at the time when you hired the therapist to help you
Oh,
get
oh,
the
yeah.
divorce.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay. So, so both of you were feeling like just you're at your wit's end. This marriage was not going to make it.
Mm-mm. And, even after being in the ridiculously happy life for a time, I stopped. It ended, and things were pretty good. They weren't bad, but we still have lots of things that I'm like, why is this not working? I'm trying the skills and they're not working. And, he's kind of caught on to the skills now. So it's like, okay. And the big problem was I wasn't authentic about everything. So I would just say, oh, I apologize for being disrespectful for blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't really feeling that way.
It
I
just
wasn't showing up with energetically that way, I guess you could say. And so I decided I was going to join the Diamond program,
it's for private coaching.
private
Okay.
coaching. And within 2 sessions, I mean, I had this list, my vision for coaching, and some of the things on that list were um, pretty challenging for me to really uh, do. Like one of them was just to create an estate trust. I was like, that word trust, right? Right? I don't trust him. No, no, I don't trust him, right? So I had to really examine what was that about. And after 2 sessions with Coach Tammy, um, that was resolved, and so was everything on my list. I had about 12 things listed. And, like getting rid of all the baggage, all the pain that I had accumulated, right? Our relationship's gone 25 years. So there was a lot of things I had collected that,
Some resentments, it sounds like.
oh, uh, th- like, why can't he apologize to me for that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I deserved an apology, right? For what he did. And, and so, um, that all just disappeared. It just like went poof. And I couldn't believe how effective, just a couple of coaching sessions were. And so that was amazing.
12 things got resolved in 2 sessions. Okay, I love it. And, and so this desire for him to apologize to you, it just went away?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah.
So he's never apologized to you?
Oh, he has.
He
Oh,
has?
yeah.
Wait, so the desire for him to apologize went away and he apologized?
Yes. And he, it's, the dance has changed, right? But some pieces of the dance get sort of stuck. You get stuck in a piece, a move there. And I think that he has his own places that this hasn't just been a personal growth journey for me. This has been a personal growth journey for him too.
Really?
Yeah, this is something that's done together. Now, I made the decision to do a lot of these things, right? You say without his conscious cooperation, or you have a tagline about that, right? It's really great. Um, but he is pretty conscious, so he was listening all the time. What's she doing, and why is she doing that? And he would see the places. He started seeing the places where he wasn't showing up that in a way that was loving, and he would apologize for that. And
Wow.
I'm like, that's a big deal.
Oh,
But
that is a big deal. It's so humble. It was very humble of you to apologize. I mean, was that happening before? Was he apologizing to you before Skills?
no,
No.
no.
So you single-handedly created a culture in your home where you're both accountable and cleaning up your side of the street,
Mm,
in these tender ways.
mhm,
Even though at first you didn't really even mean it. You just were saying the words. You were just going through the motions. But over time, something shifted. It stuck.
mhm, mhm.
Okay, and now you're always happy to see him.
Yes, absolutely.
And what else is it like at your house? Like, yeah, what would we see if we just came in with, and got a little glimpse of life and Susan's relationship and your marriage?
Well, I think you'd see a lot of fun. We play a lot and together, and so uh, I think you'd see that there's a lot of sweet things happening uh, between us.
I heard he sings to you in the hot tub.
Oh yeah. He he installed a music system in the hot tub, and he gets out there, and then he'll sing to me, and he does so many things for me. He's really generous, kind, loving, so tender.
This is
So
the same guy that you were gonna divorce. This is the same, right? Same one?
yeah, the same one.
I
Mhm.
just I have to needle you a little bit about that, Susan, because it sounds like a totally different guy. So, And it sounds like you were very influential in him maybe becoming a better husband.
Oh,
Would you
yeah.
is that how you'd say it?
I I I think that, well, I'm gonna give him credit for doing his own work, right? But I think somebody had to start, and, um, I I thought, it's worth a try. It's worth a try. I really, like I said, I think in the beginning, I even though I was really heading towards divorce, I something inside me, knew that I just loved him. I really loved him, and I couldn't explain that exactly. Um, I didn't know why. I mean, I couldn't give you reasons necessarily why I loved him, but something in my heart really was willing to say, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." And I think the pretty much instantaneous success, having that great Christmas, seeing how simple the skills were. They really are simple to use. Um, and but it and they can, because I think there are levels of, how you show up, right? It's not, maybe I wasn't being apologetic. I was saying the apology, but not really, uh, feeling it. I mean, there's a little piece of, "Ah, nah, he needs to apologize to me." Right? And so that took a while. That took a while to really get to that place because I I just think everybody should have a beautiful relationship, and, I know it's possible now. I really do. Uh, and and so I'm glad to be able to share this with you. I hope it helps somebody else, save their relationship.
Susan, so inspiring. Yeah, it's what a gift. What a gift. Well, tell me what would you say to somebody who is where you were, where she's got a therapist to support her while she divorces this man, where she just feels so hurt and criticized and just not safe. And she wants what you have now, where there's like playful Christmases where she's the elf and there's singing in the hot tub and there's, he's just showering her with love and kindness. And she's always happy to see him. What's your tip for her? What should she do?
I think just pick one of the skills and try it. Just try it. It's it doesn't it's not a lot of skin off your nose to do it, right? How is that gonna hurt you to try it? And, um, that's what I would say. Just give it a try.
Just experiment. I
Just
love it. I
experiment.
love it.
Yeah, see if
Yeah.
it works.
See if it works. See if it does. And, yeah, how great. You got immediate results and then later on said, "These aren't working." And then later on, and then you got a coach and then you're like, "Oh, actually they do." And so, I love just getting to hear that it wasn't a straight line too, right? That the journey can have some ups and downs. What would you say if you could go back in time and talk to Susan and just tell her what you know now?
I tell her, "Relax, everything's gonna be okay." You know? Uh,
You're
yeah,
not getting divorced.
no, everything, I don't know. I had so much distress, and I think I would have, um, been able to, say something comforting at least, some kinda hope that, there is hope that this is not so bad. You can do this.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Sounds like you would just give yourself a hug and
Oh,
try to
yeah.
calm your nervous system a little bit
Mhm.
and yeah, and just instill some hope in yourself, which I absolutely love. And I just want to congratulate you on this transformation because you are so cute because you're like, well, it's no skin off your nose, just try it. And but I also just heard your determination, your right over 4 years, all the things you tried you applied yourself to the skills and got a wonderful marriage out of it. And it's just a huge accomplishment. So I want to give you my
Oh,
Best Wife Award.
thank you.
Susan,
Oh, thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal that you saved that long-term marriage. And not everybody can do that. Everyone does do it. So I admire you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. That is so nice of you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for the gift of sharing your story on this podcast, inspiring so many other listeners who probably can identify with so much of what you shared so vulnerably with us. It makes my day to get to hear your story.
I just want to say one thing. Other thing is that I am truly amazed at the community that you have built. The the support, the love, the just the it's beyond anything I had ever thought could be possible. There's a lot of people that are in this community that are unique, and it's I would just encourage everyone to try it out. It's so I never want to leave. I really don't. I want to always be join every, year. I like to join in the winter, you know, and I just want to always be connected to the community because it's something I've never seen anywhere else. It's very special.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that you just want to spend the rest of our lives together. And I want that too. And I know what you mean. Like, it is such a special community. It blows me away too. Like what we have, how emotionally safe it is in our community to really stretch and grow and try things on and experiment. And, but I feel like it's just the best collection of brave, committed, determined women, just like you, Susan. So, yeah, I'm so glad we found each other.
Yeah, and I think everybody can do this. I really do. I think it's good for, it stretches us in a way that the results are worth it. They really are.
It's kind of an adventure, isn't it? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
fixing your relationship, fixing him is kind of an exciting, gratifying um, adventure where you make a bunch of new friends. A bunch of new friends. That's kind of what the community is like. They're like,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Susan. This has been
You bet.
great.
You bet.
Today's Try It Tonight takeaway is being the girl of fun and light. That's right, the girl of fun and light. Even if you're well over 12, I'm still calling you a girl. Susan was never really into Christmas, but she decided to experiment with being the girl of fun and light anyway. And she's well past 12 years old also. But we all have this inner just want to have fun girl inside of us, right? So she pretended to be an elf and she ran around the house all excited, and she made it a point to smile at her husband, and she decided to be gracious for all the gifts she got. And did you hear what happened? They had the best Christmas ever. The man she was ready to divorce was suddenly warm and tender and sweet. He was so different. She found herself wondering where this guy had been all along. So for those of you who would like to give this a try, what's one area in your relationship where you would like to lighten things up? What would it look like to channel your inner girl of fun and light and set the tone in this area? If you want to get some inspiration and follow along as we try this tonight, come join me and my coaches and a whole community of women at adoredwife.com. That's where you'll get the support to experiment and change things up, even when it's hard. Now, this might feel like a stretch. I get that. But if you're willing to experiment just a little, then you can try it tonight. Are you in? Who's doing this with me? You are? All right. Then go, go, go.